Be the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Many okasei free secondary education MPP ama yekuko fa bai na nado dan kwakofo ado e de aba Ghana eboa Ghana emabru ne awofo nyina no ne ho anya abasem NDC ama yekuno e de omonsa aka free secondary education abusua news where ye de beso mo enawie wo ye batan na wotia na chese wonso no anase woyam ebehye woye pa atiefo bekaya bosha John Dramani Muhammad she Ghana fo nyina ne se nyame boa na wobekena kunwa no so enya ade da se wono ede ne sabeka free secondary education no nemom wobehye mu kena na wotimo extend ama womo a womko ankwankwa schools private schools no kura no atimu anyamfaso wosan to aso ehye boshe akese ewo private anase university ahodum ewo both government university and private university na say woba first years ya Eco University say ye technical university o teacher training nursing o obetua wo bia school fees first year no ade say John Dramani Mahama so obefa na abusia NDC amayeko asase national dialogue bi na omo national dialogue no enzuzo so abetodwa na NDC platforms nyina omo post ni say womo say Ghana for say enye se NDC amayeko na eka wo ana John Dramani na eka wo womo say Ghana for say free secondary education na nado ede baye no ade pa nemu womo cancel feeding fee na omo cancel boarding fee na emwa na aban ho heha no me yebisa se aban person ho heha na what the university for the beka ho ayeden aban person ho heha na what the private secondary school ba beka ho ayeden abusia odubi ekupunu so a efasa free secondary education we ho yebebo na yenatiefo atimi ehu na kwan a NDC amayeko no pese wo faso na chentene twan omubetwa free education eboa Ghana for mabunu na they say de wo steps anase wo strategy wo mateki no very nice wo cancel na enya ade se obi di ne sabetena mo so na bemu ebe say Ghana for say na wo national dialogue no mo ye no abusia menya sure say wo hu bi ewo TV so anase wo hu say ye bi obabi na wotimi akwatana se bi wo mo a ena de abato mountain say Ghana for say yen cancel boarding and feeding na you be say wo cancel boarding fee and feeding fee free secondary education no e wo hibiem ade a ne boarding na anana dan kwakofado ene MPP amayeko pese wo mofa anase wo mofa ye na ma wofo ho hia omo no se say de mo say wofo nkotua ende se bo cancel boarding ne feeding ne dia mama friend free secondary education bi abusia yenkwe na ensem odus ahodua egupro so efasa cancellation of boarding fee and feeding fee we yefa kosomo ne ba Nsem-Pii TV yebesan ene yenatifo atwaso.
Also on the front page, borders must pay boarding feeding fees, education forum stakeholders. Now, let me take you to this story because it's one that, because of a lot of conversations about free SHS. Now, according to the story, stakeholders in education have proposed a significant change in the country's free senior high school policy, suggesting that boarding students should be allowed to pay for their boarding and feeding fees. They suggested that only day students should be allowed to attend school for free in order to alleviate some of the financial burdens on the government. At the Bono East Ahafo and Western North Zone of the ongoing National Education Forum in Sunyani last Monday, stakeholders said the proposed funding model would promote quality education since the government would have enough resources to invest in other sectors of education.
And isn't this what we've talked about on several occasions?
We've talked about this, but for me, the question then is, so our political parties, because in the last election, the government today still said nobody's going to do that. When the suggestion came up, so you ask the question, what sort of consultations do our political parties engage in
before they come up with their manifesto?
Because if people today are telling you, let boarding students pay their boarding and feeding fees, how is it possible that throughout the campaign, nobody proposed this?
It's funny. I actually agree with something you said a few days ago, that perhaps it was just the NDC pulling a fast one, recognizing that the failures of the free SHS system fell around government's difficulty in paying such bills, and parents had got to the point where they were prepared to step in and pay just so that their children would be comfortable.
Yeah.
And knowing that that was the state of mind of the average Ghanaian, decided not to bother promising it. Simply to say, look, if free SHS is such a great thing, we won't touch it. We will simply come and review it, asking everybody to tell us what they think, knowing fully well that this is what people think. So they've come along and done exactly what they said. They've asked, and everyone is saying, why should those who can afford pay? So now it looks like, well, we didn't say we are going to change it. You said we should change it.
And you see, what you said, I mean, that's what I see happening. And the moment the president said they were prepared to implement the committee proposes or recommends, I knew this thing was going to happen. But that then takes me to the campaign, because the NPP had suggested that the NDC was going to cancel free SHS in its current form. And because that propaganda, here when I say propaganda, I'm not talking about peddling of falsehood. I'm talking about organized scheme for the dissemination of information. That propaganda actually worked in 2020. The NDC was quick to say, no, I'm not going to do anything like that. In fact, we're just going to improve free SHS. Nobody is going to cancel free SHS. We're not going to. We're going to make it better. And if anybody tells you that you had that, commercial, that person is a bloody liar. I didn't say that. Because there are people in rural areas who just don't care. For them, the most important thing is that their children went to secondary school, they were in the boarding house, whether they day students, whatever. And if you're the NDC and had made the suggestion, then
it would have affected your votes in those areas.
That also brings me to what politicians say to us. So they know sometimes what the truth is, but will just do everything and anything just to get our votes. That is problematic.
And listen, for me, the argument is that MDC went to the polls. Majority of Ghanaians have voted on their manifesto. It is good to build consensus, but I still have a concern about this whole dialogue thing. So what if the recommendations that comes out of this meeting it contradicts what you promised in your manifesto? Which one are you going to weigh? Because then the argument is that, this is coming from a national consensus. But don't forget that you told the people that this is what you want to do. And we've given you the mandate. Go ahead and do it. And well, I mean, this whole thing about national dialogue in education, national dialogue in the economy.
And you see, the truth is that this consensus was there.
Yeah. And that was exercised. A lot of the votes that was given to the party.
A lot of people had said that free SHS in its current state was not the best. So please do something about it.
So basically, this is not new data.
No.
How people feel about free SHS was never new. Here on this show, people have expressed their views on free SHS to the extent that its champion, President Akufo-Addo, said that we were waging an attack.
Remember that program where you expressed this concern.
So then the way people feel about free SHS, it's not new data. Okay, and I guess that's the point Winston is making, that you didn't need a national dialogue
to establish this. Yeah.
And you should have put in your manifesto you're going to do this, and it wouldn't hurt. The deception will engage in, so I won't do this. Anyway, let's wait for it. I mean, let's wait for the committee to finish its work, and we know what government intends to do. But stay away from Galamsey.
Honorable Osei Mensa Bozo Airtrichin Komono and Opesa Daily Dispatch the worker Tano Osei Senka Yeto Abano Mampeni Abano Ewo Sama Bosununu Afi Tremu and MPP Benya 30%. The story says the former member of parliament for Swami Osei Mensa Bonzo has indicated that the new patriotic party's electoral performance will have been significantly worse if the elections had been held in August 2024 instead of December 2024. The former lawmaker said the MPP and its presidential candidate will have secured a mere 30% of the votes if the elections had been held in August 2024. Now, yes, me Rampacho Machu. Now, open your up to say. Sir, line number say no because you patch monitor. And someone no pay a daily dispatch and say, what can say and can free to my banner yet to no guest and can MPP. We will not 30% of presidential election on Pacho. Says, I know can one chichimuno anything.
Oh, no, so you here. The problem will be a what you could do here. 41.7, almost 42%. Before August, man will be ACC party. If you can say, I'm going to say, a fair and a baby, parliamentary prime minister, and I'm on for the aftermath of the parliamentary prime minister. Conflicts are not by party, now feeling the office a bit more resolve. Yeah, resolving in our body coalitions. Now, make us say, see, to Abano August, this time the Sandra manager, you know, with a high aim. The person you economy, serenity, whereby into 2024, and the question you say, now, or more I say. When we see 2024, now, especially the second half of the year, now, the say economy, no air rebound, let's not begin in national. Okay, so no, yes, I say, I hope so, and I give a trouble of the star. Now, make a thing, and also bring my impa. The month of the Kaya. The trouble in 2017, President of the Republic, Nonado Danko Kufuado, the call, the two for her, Okochiano Kodanase, the Asantimai, Echidemo Bono, the two for Casimbi, I say, a come and no a libre. And the man Ghana for a pro Abba, Eritrea, former President John Dramani Mahama. So I heard NCC, a man movie, a community libre everywhere. A community libre no Ghana for the Tiano. No trouble, no money, no issue. You are Ashanti region. I better say, but the great, I say, a man no more, a couple be. And until August, August, September, October, no banner name as starting easy to crack. And no, when they can't get up, and I was media. Let's just say 41.7 no, look at the no. I dare you are talking with some car yet, and they say the presidential candidate. Dr. Mahmoud Donia. And from Soria, we took down the August, September. And when they say, I do not upon a day and nearly since 1992, the presidential candidate being the day when you have been on the campaign in the Senate of the Romania, say, constituency be now spending 3 hours. Any amount for no answer to make us out. No answer at various places. Because I have 1 hour. Be a no businessman, and no company, no Puma, like my phone or no master. When you have to for any imam for any non-machine for Ushakasa. Maybe our Kasa 1 hour. And so, Yakoya mini rally. Or Kasa also 1 hour. So we have 3 constituencies in a day. It means that every day, yeah, or no Kasa 9 hours, every day, what such ceremony to a different evening. So, Kasa, young man, a buyer, ABC, 42, almost 42%, another 42% from young. Plus, when they say, I think could be being so, you presidential candidate, you parliamentary candidate, and make us a conference to buy. They not focus, not taking who becomes the running mate. The buyer between the Bosnians and let's say, and one would be a conference. Instead of the party hitting the ground to do serious campaign, they're not like anyone. If I'm a man, I can't say, Simon and I, you focus for passing hit the ground or not. The Cabana Bay, but some strong with some of the let's just say, I want to go baby. Yeah, that's no, and I'm
I see. You know, Croncro, a far a com, a muchere, any idea na, is it that na Sabreno, a mine on Tiazia, no more young Shiana, a year na.
So we are welcome. If you have external shocks to the economy, what will they buy, you know? Still have money who be any. Name a panel, a bon things that will be see a no. Say, what will the people? Emma, Russia didn't create a talker. Buy a wish was also in life. And then I buy will be any. So, the abandoned would be and be in the say. Mama, I don't go for the or so. And so for Yari, abandoned, yeah, also GPR, not the above amount for one pine. We want to protect life and livelihood. But all that, among my any prohibition. Oh, am I of it? And if I am a fear, if you are saying, a mine, a mine, Ghana come. Africa had your Ghana was first. So, you see, you know, so go pay Brumra, and 1 year, you can't get the, you know, a big nation of war, or my own physical thing. So, when we are account, a big egg can say, you may be a buyer, for instance, banks here. A buying of issues, another finance ministry, they should say, but the only come, aga, but really can see the back or many. So banks, no. It's a shame how much buy a month, you know. Banks, no, and collapse. Emma, you feel your amount was saving. You could buy amount for you can't ever buy. And then a bit of work, say, I don't know about here, you know. If you go far, I'm going to be dry. A bit in your boy, Mr. Car buying, say, you know, and that's what you could see when you are about 22 million. The sense you cannot recall, you know. The number of the mobile 10 billion, that's what banks know as a year. A bit you say, no, Monasa. It's a matter of debate. What was a better alternative? So, a buyer had control over that. Those matters could be debated, but we can't one thing but here. We have more here. So, you see, when you're making the economy in the debate here, we can debate it. Say, a buyer no choir or pastoral, say, or both among for a whole buying. Was it the best? And I said, yeah, debating about comfort social. Those are matters that we can subject to debate. But if you have one thing but here, here. So that is as far as the economy is concerned.
Peace FM. Okay. What can time more flag bearer or share in the campaign as a gidi any Juma or any idea. Say yet no better me so bisa say time more de to about you flag bearer. na enam no so de ba be yi ne running mate ne ade e ha party no